From the art of the deal to keeping it real. Live from the Simply Vegas studios, it's The Power Move with John Gafford.
Back again for another fun-filled episode of Jasmine Satellite Show Bar 2. Jasmine. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome to Power Move. I am your host. My name is John Gafford. With me to my left, as always, you know what? We're going so fast. You know what?
Colt, the Khmer Rouge sympathizer.
The Khmer Rouge sympathizer. Amidan. There you go. Whatever it was.
God, Chris gets into
I know. He loves it. I know. He loves it there. Chris Connell, Esquire. Chris, how are you, sir?
Living the dream.
And special guest in the studio today, my man from Vegas Auto Gallery, Nick Dossa, is here. Nick, what's happening? How are you?
Not much, man. Glad to be here.
How are you? So, guys, today on the show, we're going to talk about a lot of things. But Nick is here, and Nick is, and for those of you who are not in Vegas listening to us, you hear like Vegas Auto Gallery, and you're thinking, oh, is this like the buy here, pay here lot where they knock your head off and charge 18% interest and repossess your 82 Camry in about 3 weeks? And that's not really the business Nick is in. Nick is in the, I've got $2 million Bugattis hanging around in my showroom. Yesterday, I actually bought a car from Nick, and that's not the cool part of the story. The cool part of the story is by the time I bought the car and I was going to get my bag out of his office to come back, I come back and there's 2 Golden Knights sitting in my car, which I thought was pretty cool. And
they're about to resell it on you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're like, do you mind if we sit in your car? And I'm like, no, you go right ahead.
Where'd you get this
go right
98
ahead.
Civic?
Yeah.
This is amazing.
This is the nicest Civic I've ever been in.
Actually, it's amazing what you can do with a Fiero with the right body kit. It is just gorgeous, the car that we picked up yesterday. We're good. So today we're going to get, look, this is a dude that has built an incredibly successful business. I mean, just incredible successful business. And we're going to kind of go through, like we do with all the entrepreneurs that come on the show, what makes him tick, what got him to where he is, and hear the story. And, if you are someone that owns a business and you want to talk about connecting in a way that's special with your high-end clientele, this dude's got it. Because, these guys, not only do the Knights, they weren't there to buy a car yesterday, were they? Were they there to buy a car?
Out, but,
yeah, they were there.
They left with one.
Yeah, they left. Right, but they were there. They were there just to keep it real and creating an environment for those guys. But the connection he has with his business is what makes his business go. And this is a guy that, I can't even imagine how much money is in your contacts on your phone. I can't even get my head around what that number must be. But before we do that, as we always do, we got to talk about some current event stuff. And I got to tell you, Super Bowl this weekend came out. It was a good game. I want to talk about the game, though. This is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about tone deafness in advertising. That's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to talk about. Nick, this may be one of your clients. You want to just deck off the show right here real quick. But my God, there was an ad, and I'm not going to say who it was by name, but there was an ad. I'm sure you didn't see it where you are because it was local, and it was an attorney. And it was the most tone-deaf thing I've ever seen. This was an ad for an attorney, and there was no speaking in the inset ad. It was just like, let me put these super hot chicks in slow motion with giant eyelashes, and then I'm gonna lean against really expensive cars, which probably came from you. And then I left this ad watching it like, bro, who is this for?
No, it's not for anybody. It's not for high-end people. It's not for the broke people. The tone deaf, right, was crazy. I sent Chris the Twitter feed of people talking about this, and I've never seen.
Yeah, they turned on him hard.
Usually you'll have one or two people defend people, and not one
No.
person defended them. And
Nope.
like everybody's like, I thought it was a spoof of making fun of it, and then they were going to turn around, and then the commercial ended, and
that was legit. And so I think the moral of the story with this ad is a couple things.
Bad spot right now.
No. You look.
I'd just like to go on record being that I believe that all members of the bar are honorable and dignified people.
There you go. I think the point of it is twofold. Number one is, before you make a piece of advertising, maybe you should invest in some sort of market study to see who your target market is and then what sort of thing would appeal to them. I think that's a good piece of advice. The second piece of advice I'm going to say is, obviously after seeing that ad, is there are people out there that will produce it, that they claim to be in marketing, they claim to be in advertising, they will produce whatever piece of shit ad you direct them to make and tell you it's wonderful. Because somebody told him that thing was amazing.
I'm trying to tell Chris to let us write an ad for him. I could
Yeah,
write
we
you
totally
the
should.
best ad.
It'd be the
Chris.
best ad
Oh
ever.
my god!
It'd be amazing.
I'm out on that.
It'd be amazing.
Chris, you already saw what our brain
Yeah.
does at the.
Yeah.
We were planning
That's
a
why-
party
that's-
before.
yes,
It was
that's-
amazing.
Yeah,
That's why I'm out on it.
In Chris's defense, he walked in today, and my assistant is with child now, and the word is out. We've been keeping it quiet, but it's out. And so,
Now
me
it's
being
out.
me, I feel obligated to plan her bachelor, or not bachelorette party, but her baby shower. That's what it is. Whatever it is. No,
Same difference.
No, but I
Same
feel it's the
difference.
same thing. I feel obligated to plan that event, and honestly, I think the best idea we came up with was what, Colt?
Well, I can't say what the best one was.
No, I think-
Fascist dictators was my vote.
No,
That
fascist
was my
dictator.
vote.
She shot that down, and I think now
Shocking. She has no personality.
You're on,
know.
You're on Pimps and Hoes.
well, we settled on pimps and hoes.
Pimps and
It's going to be.
Pimps and hoes.
I mean, think about it. You have the pimps up, hose down, baby reveal. I think that's a strong move. You have the iceberg slim salad.
Yeah.
So iceberg slim wedge salad.
wedge salad,
That's it.
yeah.
Yeah, you get it
Oh,
done.
it writes
it's,
itself, yeah.
It's going to be a beautiful event. I just hope I can get her grandmother to come. That's all. That's all I say. But anyway,
Wow.
but the next thing I got to tell you is foresight in business. Because guys, I had something happen to me this week, and I don't like it. I lost 300 Jeezels this weekend. 300 grand down the tubes. And it was because I was dealing with an agent that was very short-sighted. Now, how do you do that? Well, very simply, let's just say that this agent and I called everybody and nobody knew who they were. And again, this is not bashing our industry because I hate it, but I'm just calling a spade, and I'm using this as an example. I'm not doing it out of spite that I lost 300 because it'll come around. I'll figure it out. I'm going to find my clients another house. It's fine. But this agent was representing somebody, and let's just say this was somebody that had to leave Vegas. They didn't have a choice. They were leaving Vegas. And they're somebody that's never coming back.
Professionally or legally?
Yeah,
No,
well, whatever. We're going to leave it at that. All right.
hates
It's
Vegas
somebody
now.
that's leaving Vegas and they're never coming back.
Who lived here but no
They
longer.
lived here and they are moving away and they're never
Cancel
coming back.
culture,
This
got
person will never come back to Vegas,
Right.
right? And this agent was representing to sell their house. Now, my clients, all right, are very influential people that happen to be a member of a certain country club here in town. And they're there all the time. They know everybody there. They talk to everybody there. This agent had insinuated during the showing that we were at that she was a member also of said club, which explains how this person wound up with this listing. Obviously created a relationship with somebody through the club, and that was it. And here's the deal. I don't mind, like if my clients got beat in the offer, I don't mind. I don't mind that at all. But when you string us out with a bunch of things that you tell me something and it doesn't seem to be accurate as we go along, and we're working through it, and you string my clients out, my clients are furious with this agent. Mm-hmm. So now, yes, you've sold the house, congratulations, but I don't think it's enough for them to retire on. And the reality of it is this person who you maybe you thought you were doing right by them, which is fine. And keep in mind, you could have handled this with my clients much differently and still they could have lost and it would have been fine. But you slow rolled them and you lie, you said some things that didn't really turn out to seem to be real accurate. And now my clients are furious. So now you got this client you sold them for, but they've moved away. They're gone.
Yeah, they're not. Now, they're a one-shop.
Yeah,
player.
your little
referral,
honeypot where you're going to try to get business now is completely shot out. Because believe me, my clients are going to tell everybody.
Yeah.
And it was so short-sighted. And the idea here, man, is if you're going to be in business and you're doing it in the long term, play chess, not checkers.
Yeah.
You got to look further than what's right in front of your face.
You know this market right now, and my wife's a realtor. She sent an agent an offer. That agent turns around, sends her a text back going, "Hey, I got this offer, and is your client able to come up on it?" She's like, "Excuse me, you're literally just texting me. That was my offer." "Oh, I'm sorry, wrong number." And just absolutely careless and just tacky.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't know what's going on right now, man, but it seems like
it's like 2004.
It seems
Remember
seems
how
like,
many people were doing that and making money, and all of a sudden now they're bartenders.
Yeah.
And nothing
Well,
against bartenders, but it's
Colt loves
a lot of
bartenders.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead. Let's have it, man.
My mom's real estate for years.
Love it.
From Canada. So you know Remax, obviously.
Sure.
Very well. My mom was one of the first people that brought Remax to Canada in the 70s.
Okay.
So she had most of the Remax offices in Calgary, Alberta. Top realtor in 1993, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 11 internationally, number 3 in Alberta, and number 1 in Calgary.
Jeez.
So she was a heavy hitter for an East Indian woman, to do that. But so my point of this is that as a young kid, I didn't grow up like hanging out with my friends. I grew up in a show home, and I remember I was showing houses at the age of 12 years old, walking people to one house, another house. The industry here in Vegas, I got to say, is no offense, any realtors.
Oh, no,
it's not like
you'd be
Canada.
offensive.
No.
Over there, they work. Like you get an offer, you're working it, you're answering your call at midnight, you're answering the call at 1 a.m. It doesn't matter because some deals will go till 1 o'clock in the morning. You know that. Like they'll go, right? Over here, it's like, oh yeah, well, I'm on vacation. I'm at a wine tasting. I'll call you tomorrow. It's like, I want to buy the house. If you want to sell me the house, tell me I don't want to buy the house. And I'll go find something else. Why is that?
I always said that. When I came to Vegas,
care?
when I came to Vegas, I said the same thing because I came from northern Utah. So I'm like, oh, Vegas is, I'm thinking, oh, Podunk, northern Utah. I'm like, wow, this is not the same as that market.
Well, it's not that. You got to understand. In Vegas, you've got 20,000 realtors in the MLS. All right. Of those 20,000, 10,000 of them have something in common, which is they did not sell a house last year. Yeah. So these are people that part with, give or take, thousands of dollars a year, just to be able to carry a business card and say, I sell real estate, even though they do nothing. Right. And I mean, that's a commitment to be able to carry a card just to part with $2,000. I mean, why not just say like I'm a taxidermist? I'm pretty sure there's no board you have to join to be a taxidermist.
Import export.
Yeah, exactly. Just make up something else, interior design, whatever it is. Just make something up to say that you have a job, and that's how it is. But then you got so now we're down to 10,000 that do they do 10,000 sell all the houses.
Sure.
Now of the 10,000, maybe I'm going to guess 6,000 of those sell one house a year. One. So we went from 0 to 1. So now I got 4,000 left. Of the 4,000, you've got about 2,000 that might sell 2 homes a year. When it really comes down to it, you got about 500 people in town that sell everything.
That's true.
It's pretty much it.
So if you don't get those 500,
if you don't get one of those guys, you're just whatever. You're getting a lot of realtor, and that unfortunately is the math as to why people are fed up with realtors. That's why. Because there's too many people that this is their
it's a low barrier to entry.
Third job, fifth job. Maybe I don't have a job. I'm being supported by my spouse, and I just want a card that says I do something.
And I got a friend in my family who wants to do it, so it's worth it to carry the license.
That's worth it
for that one house you get every couple of years.
No, that's worth it. But you know what? Enough about us, man. That's my little current events and stuff. So I brought you in here, and he's like, okay, this is great. I'm just throwing some comments in from the side.
He's a fellow. I moved here from Calgary.
But let's
You're from Calgary?
Oh,
well, I'm from Regina.
Oh, jeepers.
Aren't you?
Oh, jeepers. Oh, jeepers. Oh, here we go. Then hey there.
All from Regina.
We're gonna start talking.
Here from Calgary.
All right, if you guys start talking about syrup, this is going to be over in like 5 minutes. I will shut this off.
You mean in 3 hours,
Yes,
John? There's a lot to talk about.
You go down the syrup train. This is over. So let's again back to you, man. So Nick owns Vegas Auto Gallery, but you didn't just come out of the ether and own this thing. So tell me, I always like to hear the start, man. You as a kid walking through that. That's what I like to hear about because it's so funny because most of the conversations we have like this are almost identical. And I just like to prove that point and see if that's where you're at. So you
kind of want to know the whole thing of
absolutely, man.
Did you have a job with the Calgary Herald? Did you deliver papers?
Okay, so would you stop?
You've ever been to Regina?
You're leading the witness.
Talking about the Herald.
Objection, Your Honor. Leading the witness. You're leading the witness. You're going forward. Let the man talk.
No, so starting out in Calgary, I was going to school and playing hockey like everybody does over there. And I got pretty competitive with it. And from there, as I was playing hockey, I got injured at a very competitive level. I was almost like I would say, you guys call it like junior, so we'll just call it juniors here, right? So I got.
So how old was this? In high school or after high school?
No, like in 19.
Okay, so you're like 19.
So I was playing hockey.
Well, I'm gonna go back further than that. When you were a kid, like what was the first hustle you had as a kid to make money? What was it?
Believe it or not, I was showing houses for my mom. My
Mom's
dad passed away at the age of when I was 12, and so he was only 52 at the time. My mom was a single mom at the time growing up. So she raised me, and so I was working with her. Like I was always with my mom because that was my dad told me, hey, look after your mom. So that was my priority. So I worked with her. I helped her with whatever she needed. She was a very successful realtor over there. I was buying and selling cars while I was in school just for fun, not because I had to. I was just for fun. Like we had auto traders back then. It wasn't like, there's no internet, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So your auto trader, you look for a car and you find it and you go buy it and I'd clean it up and I'd put it back in the auto trader the next week and
so you're flipping. How old is this when this starts?
I was like 16.
16 flipping cars. What's the best business lesson you learned watching your mom do real estate?
Be honest.
Just be honest.
Be honest and hard work. Like just honestly, you have to just do the right thing by people. It's not about, you don't want to chop someone's head off. I'd rather make money every time for a long road rather than just go for a huge score and smoke someone right off the bat, and then they'll never come back to me and say, fuck that guy, I never want to come back.
Or as a wise man once said, you can shear a sheep 1,000 times and skin them only once.
Mutton once. So you can have wool forever or mutton once.
That's it, yeah.
She taught me a lot, man. Everything I learned in business was from my mom.
Nice.
Straight up. So it was a lot of lessons.
So you're competitive hockey. You're pretty good to
Think
get
you
to
could
the
have
junior
gone
thing.
to?
Junior A,
You
right?
think you could have
Okay.
gone to Olympics?
Oh my God.
Hockey?
Oh,
Here we go.
here we go. Here we go.
Like you
Okay.
said, he goes way out.
Yeah, well, hang on a second. There's a couple reoccurring themes that you probably need to know about, and I guess we should get this out of the way now, right, Colt? You're down for this? Yeah.
Yes.
Colt believes that he could compete at an Olympic level with how long? 1 year?
Oh, yeah. And now it's shortening because now I'm starting to watch some of the winter events, and I could be the top
Shortening.
guy on the double luge and do nothing.
Yes, he's
Just
genuine.
get my triceps going really
Yeah,
good.
first it was equestrian for the longest time. He's given that up now. The Winter Olympics here, but he believes with 1 year. Now it's what's the max training here?
6 months.
6 months.
gonna
So,
join the Jamaican
so we'll
bobsled.
go ahead and get this out of the way.
And that's another thing. I can run fast enough to be in a bobsled.
All right, okay.
I can keep up. We might not win, but I could be number 3 on that team.
All right. So, is there any
No?
planet do you believe Colt could compete at an Olympic level in any sport in 6 months, knowing him for the now, where are we at? 14 minutes we've been doing this. Is there any way that happens?
I can't say, but
Yeah.
I'm
No,
more,
you
I'm,
can.
I'm
You
positive.
can.
Yes, you
I would,
can.
You can.
I'd like to say that I would hope that I'm glad that he thinks he can.
Yes. Well, I will say there's only been one person to ever
Wait.
vote yes for him, and that's a guy that slaps dudes for money. He's the only guy
And there you
that
go.
has ever supported this
He's
for
a
you.
smart guy. Smart slap for cash. I like slaps. I talk to him all the time.
And that's
I
it.
like slaps.
And that's it. The only guy that's ever
Honestly,
supported this.
like there are bobsled.
For cash is on there.
Bobsled. I could be number 2 in there.
All right, we're Colt. We're bringing it back.
All
We're
right,
bringing
I'm
it back
sorry,
to Nick.
But
We're
I'm
bringing it
just
back.
saying
Bring
he
it back
could have
to
been
Nick.
a hockey guy.
Yeah, you'll get a chance to talk about sandwiches or cookies or something here shortly. Just
I got a text
No,
real quick.
hold
No,
on.
real quick. I get a text from someone in Colorado on like the weekends, like, Jesus, are you high? Pumpkin cookies? I'm like,
That was the
Oh,
right
yeah.
answer of that person.
Yeah, that was good.
Sorry.
That was a
Sorry,
correct
guys.
answer. So, okay, back to you, Nick.
ahead.
I'm sorry.
Shoot.
It's going to happen repetitively.
No, it's all good.
I'm glad you. Yeah, you have to have kind of ADD in here because it's just going to steer off all
Pumpkin
over the place.
cookies.
No pumpkin cookies. So you're pretty good at hockey.
As we get at
All right.
hockey,
So here's one thing that I have found in my life when I have been exposed to guys that were really good at a sport, and then maybe got injured and it didn't happen.
yeah, it's
I
depressing.
found that there is really, it's more common than not for guys or gals in that situation to kind of actually become worthless is a good way to put it. I mean, what I mean by that is because they've had somebody telling them how special they are for so long because they're good at this one thing. And all of a sudden when that one thing goes away, they're completely lost.
Yeah.
And it becomes my glory days are behind me and this is over. So where were you with, obviously you didn't do that, but where were you that? How did you get over that? What happened? Tell me about the energy, et cetera.
It was depressing. Actually, what you said is correct because you're playing at such a high level. Everything stops for you. You're going through, physio to get back to better, and you never really get there. And then you go back out, and you're like, oh man, you can feel the difference. It's never the same.
Yeah.
And then you don't make it any further. So it's actually mentally you have to have a really strong mind, otherwise it'll crush you. Some guys fall off. A lot of the people I played hockey with that didn't make it, drug addicts, super fat, don't give a shit about themselves. 5 kids running around, job
That's
to
it.
job. Like it messes you up, and it's such a young age that it really kind of puts you on a road of destruction for the rest of your life, and it's hard to fall out. I was lucky that I was mentally strong and I had good support.
Well,
I was
that's
able to get through that, and I had motivation to push.
to get up on it. It's one of the things that I always preach to guys. People always ask me like if I could give a young entrepreneur advice in business, and I'm always like, do not let what you do become your identity. Keep your identity you, because what you do will probably change several times throughout your life. But if you get too attached to one, if what you do is who you are, you're gonna be screwed. And I think that's that. So, what was the injury? What'd you hurt?
My knee.
Your knee. Blow the knee out.
Blew the knee out. Never recovered from it. Really.
Oh man.
I
So
still have pain now. Like when I work out and do lifts, whatever, I feel it. When the weather changes, you feel it.
oh yeah, cracks and
Funny,
creaks as you get out of bed. No kidding.
Yeah.
So you blow the knee out. You try to get it done, but you're just. At what point do you figure out this ain't gonna happen?
After physio so many times, getting back on the ice, I just didn't have the same speed, didn't have the same agility. It was just like, this is not gonna work.
And it's just this is done.
And
So
I missed,
what happened then?
It's like I was getting scouted at the time, and I missed that. It was gone. So I would have had to wait a whole nother year. It's like, Do I put my whole life on hold for another year and just wait and hope that I make it next year, or do I just call it an ace and spade a spade? You're done. Let's move on. What's the next thing?
All right, so you're done. So I'm guessing you sit down with mom.
Yeah, mom's like, okay, so you're gonna go to university now and go become a doctor. I'm like, okay. Well, I don't want to do that.
All right.
I was there very interested in chiropractic, so I started going to school and started doing all the biology and chiropractic courses, and got halfway through that. And I was like, you know what? I'm sitting in class, buying and selling cars, because that's what I just
Where'd you go to college? Where?
University of Calgary.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was sitting in class, I'm buying and selling cars and making money. And so I go home one day and I'm like, Mom, like, I'm making more money than the guy that's teaching me right now. I'm not doing this anymore. She's like, no, I don't care. You have to get a degree. I said, I want to open a dealership. She's like, no. I'm like, come on, how can I figure this out?
How old is this? How old are you here?
How are we gonna do this? She's like,
how old are you here?
I was 20. I want to say I was 21. 21-ish, around there.
All right, so you're 21. I want to open a dealership.
I want to open a dealership. She's like, no.
And you've gone to school and you've looked at, and I had a similar situation where I went to class one day and I realized
this is not for me.
Yeah, maybe because I owned a bar when I was 20.
Okay.
And I was like in school for hospitality, and I'm like, maybe I don't need this. Maybe I'm good. So I feel you. I feel you there. But you're 20, 21, you want to open a thing. Mom says, no, you're getting your degree.
Yeah. So I said, okay, fine. Well, I'm going to switch my degree then from chiropractic and medical. I'm going to go into business. She's like, okay, cool.
Good.
Get your business degree. When you're done your business degree, then I'll give you the money. You can open a dealership.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, cool. So I go through school, get my business degree. Everything's done. And I go back to her. I'm like, okay, Mom, I'm done. I'm done with my my schooling. And she's like, okay. I'm like, I want to open a dealership. You said you're going to help me out. She's like, are you serious? she looked at me like I was crazy.
I was just kidding about that. That wasn't real.
So sure enough, I said, I pressed her, and she said, okay, let's go. So we went and found a location, a warehouse.
In Calgary?
In Calgary.
Okay.
Found a location. And I was like, you got to understand, for me to break the mold of following her footsteps in real estate, I could have, it was a slam dunk. If I wanted to go in real estate,
Sure.
It was done. Like, she was a home builder. She's doing real estate, all this stuff. I could have walked right into that.
Yeah.
I just didn't enjoy it at the time.
Yeah.
So we find a warehouse, and I start with $50,000.
I just get it going with the warehouse.
So one car, $50,000, built it up.
Wait, you bought one? Okay, so you got $50,000. So you got a choice. I can buy like 10 crap boxes, or I can buy one nice car and gotta go.
$50,000 to set up the business and buy a car.
Oh, that was everything.
So she's like, here you go. Because it was her friend that I leased the building from. So she probably thought, okay, let me get this kid out of it. Let's get this out of his system.
Yeah.
Right.
So he can just
Let's
finish
watch this flop, and then we'll go. Back to chiropractic school we go.
Exactly. So she set me up, and but she was very supportive. I got to say that. So I did it, and I paid her back.
All right. So what was the first? It's like, you see, here's the thing. You might not remember because you were already flipping cars.
No, it was
but
an
what
RX-7.
It was a what?
RX-7.
An RX-7.
Yeah, I remember that.
right.
RX-7.
Yeah.
There was an Acura Integra after that. I still remember those first two.
And you remember the first deal.
Yeah, I remember the first deal. I was so excited. I was so jacked.
So, because here's the thing, because you were just kind of throwing them on back into Auto Trader and just kind of turning them over. They come over and it's like, there's the car. So, so obviously working with your mom, you developed some decent closing skills and some sales skills with that.
Very good. Very good. Yeah.
And so this is was this the first time you really had to like make this work, or you in the driveway hustling when you were 16?
I was hustling, but like this was like, okay, it's real now. And when you're at that age and you're like 22 or 23 starting a dealership, you're like, okay, what am I going to do? Like, this is all on me. Like, what if this fails? Like, you get a lot of pressure.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of licensing and all that stuff did you have to get?
I had to get all the dealer licensing from over there.
So you got all the dealer licensing?
Got all the
with that?
licensing, everything. I started applying for everything right away while I was going to school. So I knew when I was done, I was.
And so you are the sales manager, the salesman, the finance guy. You're everything. You're the whole 9 yards.
Detailer.
Let me have my guy run around back and get some gas.
It was like a 4,000 square foot warehouse. I started with nothing.
So you got the first one done. So now you get a couple cars going, right?
Get a few going.
So at what point are you like, you know what? I need a little help around here. At what point does that happen?
I paid mom back, and I was like, okay, cool.
How long did it take you to pay it back? How long?
6 months.
6 months. Mom's flush.
Yeah, mom's flush.
So was she
flush. I could have paid her back sooner, but I just held on to it. Just had a little bit of
little cushion. So where was mom with this? Was mom like, I'm happy I got money back, or is mom like, well, there goes chiropractor school? Is that where was she?
Well, she was like, listen, you got your business degree, and if this is what you want to do, then it's got to be your passion. So then fine.
I'll support it.
She supported it all the way.
All right.
I was lucky that way.
All right, cool. So we're RX-7, then we go to the Acura Integra, and then we're working our way up. So at what point do you start bringing other people in to help you?
I hired a porter, which was one guy. I still remember his name was Mike, and he came to help me out, and he would basically sit. We had a showroom. It was like a square box. If you can imagine this square box, one desk on the left side, one desk on the right side, and I'm on one side, he's on the other side, and He would help me clean the cars, prep them, go pick them up. If I'm buying a car from the auction, he'd have to go with me. We take one car. There was no Uber back then. Go one car, pick it up, bring it back, bring another one back. It was work, but I had one helper and we killed it.
So this is your first guy.
Yeah.
What'd you pay him to do that back in the day? What year is this?
I don't remember.
Where are
this
we?
is, I think 2006.
So 06.
05, 06.
So man, this ain't that long ago.
No,
This is 15 years ago. Okay. All right. So here we go from RX-7 to Bugatti in 15 years. So, well, let's see how long it took to get there. Yeah. So we got our first guy in there. He's working. Where's he today? Do you know where he is?
No idea.
Where were you located?
I was, McLeod Trail.
Crow Trail or McLeod Trail?
No, McLeod Trail, the main street. In
by the Tim Hortons.
It really is.
Tim Hortons, that's all you need. Tim
Hortons.
You're just dying to talk about syrup. I see it in your eyes.
No, because it's interesting because there's a lot of, because Crowchild McLeod, they have a lot of like major dealerships. So
there was a Porsche dealer and I was a building right behind the Porsche dealer.
Oh, I know exactly what it is.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. This portion of the show brought to you by bacon. Canadian bacon. There you go. So anyway, so you got the box.
Yep.
So how long do we keep the box in before? Do we move to somewhere better in Calgary, or do we just go like that?
I kept that going because all I did was that building had a lot of square footage, so I just kept expanding. I took another spot beside me, another bay, and then the other bay, and then by the time I was done, I had the whole building.
That's power move right there. If you're opening a business, now the same thing we kind of do here is it's better to be the restaurant with not enough tables than the restaurant with a bunch of tables hoping somebody's going to come sit in them. So if you're going to start your business, when you're looking for a location, I mean, Colt, I think our commercial expert would agree with this. It's a good idea to find something like this that you can scale out.
That's the biggest overhead you're going to have.
Yeah, it's a huge
lease. I mean, it's your insurance is up because of it. Everything. It's a big. So
and here's a fun bit of advice. If you don't know if you want a whole space, take the end cap and leave the interior space vacant, because there's a much greater chance somebody's going to lease the end cap than lease the interior space. So grab the end cap first if you want to.
And always put first right of refusal in your leases.
Always get that in there.
Grab the next spot.
Yeah, but you don't have to necessarily get the whole restaurant with the playland. Dude, just get the restaurant. Go whatever you get. Just get it up. All right, cool. So we're growing into more bays. We're getting that.
Grew into more bays. I'll fast forward it a bit for you.
No, don't. We got an hour. We got plenty of time. Because trust me, if you run out of stuff to talk about, we have to listen to this one. Yeah, I know you'll talk.
See Magic Johnson? Huh?
Oh, Jesus.
So I grew from that space and was selling cars, got a pretty good name in town. I started dealing with more and more. And through my mom's contacts, I was able to get plugged into a couple of high net worth individuals. So I started playing in the high end cars. Like I went from this cheaper stuff right away to the higher end stuff. I always want to do high end cars.
So what was a high end car to you then? Because I know that's changed. That's
a Mercedes
changed now.
E-Class, or like a 300 ZX twin turbo back then. Those.
Yeah.
That
was a high car.
That was a high end car.
That was a hot car.
That was a high end car back then.
Was that pretty quick? Like, was that like you were up and going for a year and made that decision, or?
I made that decision probably after about 8 months, 9 months, because there's a lot of like saturation with the cheaper stuff, and there was only one guy in town that played in the big toys, so I had to go follow that because I always had a passion for it. I mean, I was buying cars from a young age. If my mom wanted a car, I'd go to the Benz dealer and I'd negotiate the deal at the age of 14 years old, and the guy would look at me like I was crazy. One salesman took me serious. I went, okay, I want this car. Let's negotiate. I did all the negotiations. So I'll be back tomorrow. I went home, told my mom, she's like, okay, cool, let's go. My mom went and bought 2 brand new cars.
And that was it.
I negotiated the deal.
Yeah, I mean, see, that in itself is a business lesson. I mean, if you listen to what he just said, and you're going back to that, and you're talking about going from selling the crap boxes up to, not crap boxes, the smaller cars into the Highline. Anytime, if you want to create, there's more risk in it, man. There's a lot of chance, and you got to sling your balls out there a little bit. But if you want to have an easier path, get to where there's less competition. People ask, right now they're talking about, us flipping the high-end stuff. Why are we flipping high-end houses instead of flipping $300,000 houses? Because there's a million people trying to buy $300,000 houses. Correct. There's only a couple people in town that can take down a $2 million house and turn it into a $4 million house.
100%.
And lucky enough, that's why I do that. So yeah, if you're having trouble, if you're struggling, or if you're trying to find a market segment, as soon as you're good at the lower market segment, Stretch that stuff out a little bit, and you'd be surprised what's going to happen. So that's awesome.
You should probably cut your teeth on the smaller stuff.
Yeah,
first.
no. Cut your teeth to see if you're any good at it. No,
There's
for
people
sure.
that want to jump into luxury. I'm going to be a luxury.
Yeah, no.
You're not. What the hell you're talking about?
You definitely got to be able to see the bottom of the pool before you jump in the water. You
That's
definitely want to know that and know to swim a little bit. But anyway, we're going to take a quick break real quick. We'll be right back with Nick Dossa. We're going to talk about how we go from Calgary RX-7s to Vegas Bugattis. We'll be back in just a second.
Yeah, you start my car service today.
Hey, it's John Gafford. If you want to catch up more and see what we're doing, you can always go to thejohngafford.com, where we'll share any links that things we talked about on the show, as well as links to the YouTube where you can watch us live. And if you want to catch up with me on Instagram, you can always follow me at thejohngafford. I'm here. Give me a shout.